Alright, what is good, ladies and gentlemen, is Themasr Ranker back again with another ranking, and tonight we are doing a ranking for the Epithet erased characters, and it is a power ranking. I was debating, man, I have to really stop doing these recordings when it's so late, but yeah. I was debating on whether or not I should do this, but I did want to do a power, like a Epithet ranking itself, and so I was thinking back to like the other power rankings I've done up until this point, in terms of like specific powers, and the only one that I think I actually did up until this point was the Ninjago power ranking. And I also did a character power ranking for Ninjago, so I was thinking, okay, should I do a character power ranking for Epithet erased? And I decided, like, yeah, why not? I think that, because it would be different. Like a power Epithet ranking would be like how I personally feel about the Epithet powers, like how cool I think it is, and a character power ranking is like how powerful the character actually is. So for now, this is a character power ranking. This is going to be based on powers. The next one will be based on how cool I think the actual ability is. So yeah, with that said, let us begin. This is the same characters I used for the character ranking videos that I just recorded, and I got better shots of Indus and Ramsey, so they are, where's Ramsey? Ramsey is here, so they're a bit easier to see now. And yeah, let us just begin, starting off with Martin, Molly's dad, not a fighter at all, not faring well at all in a fight, D/F tier. Yeah, this is probably going to be a bit quicker because there's going to be a bit less to talk about. The Bonsai Blasters, I'm going to give them probably, maybe not D/F tier, they're probably still D/F tier because they are just like very weak, but I do think that they could probably, I don't know, it's like they probably have some battle experience, and maybe C tier, but now I'm just going to leave them in D/F tier. I'm going to be harsh. This is Pugsley. By the way, we'll just do side style as we go along with this. They'll probably be more battle efficient than Martin, I would say. Pugsley, I would give him probably C tier. He's definitely not really that strong, but actually probably B tier because he is probably a bit stronger. Like, I have to remember that this like show in general, this web series in general, it's like the characters are not like the power in terms of like power. It's like this show, it's like has a lot weaker characters compared to probably most, I would say. That's not necessarily true, but like, I don't know, bullets, they don't kill people in this show, so that's like a good portrayal of like how the power kind of works here. So yeah, I'll give him B tier. Like his power, his Epithet is kind of random, where it's like whatever he eats, he then presses his belly button, and then he gets to shoot a random object out of his mouth. So it's very luck dependent. So I'm just gonna give it B tier for that reason. Car Crash, just another kind of similar to the Bonsais, not very battle efficient. I'm sure that there's probably some Bonsai Blasters that are stronger than him, but he is, I guess, a bit battle experienced. He could probably be more, I would say. So yeah, just D/F tier. Beefton, I would say probably A tier, probably like very physically strong. The only way to defeat, I mean, it is probably pretty easy to defeat him because you just have to wake up Sylvie from inside of his torso. So if you get like just a loud sound or something, like if you manage to find a way to wake him up, then it is not the most difficult for him to beat. But physically, I would say he is the strongest character on the list, I would say. So we're going to say A tier. Giovanni, okay, so he does have the 13 hits, which is pretty strong. I mean, it wasn't really portrayed as like being extremely strong, but the suit power is not really the strongest at all. Is like more so the 13 power, where it's like every 13th hit he gets a power boost in terms of his attack. That is probably the strong aspect of his character. Even so, I don't really think it's going to be the most strongest against most people. I would give him probably like, I'll give him a high B tier. I don't think he really, which is A tier, I would say. He's just, the suit powers aren't doing him any favors, and the 13 critical hit, it doesn't seem like it would be able to fare up against some of the stronger characters, I would say. Goro, he has an Epithet, which is like Bluster, I think, where he just blows, but it wasn't portrayed as doing anything useful. So he has a gun, that's probably something. He's a sheriff, I guess, so I'm going to put him probably, maybe he could beat the Bonsai Blasters. Yeah, I mean, he has a gun, I don't know, and he has an Epithet, so maybe I'll put him top of these up here. Maybe he could beat like any Bonsai Blaster one-on-one. As a collective, they probably beat him, to be honest. So I'll put the Bonsai Blasters above, I would say. So they're probably get into combat more so than him, where he probably just sits in the sheriff's office, the town prison in Redwood, like all day, probably not really doing anything. So yeah, this is the old man. He seems kind of crazy, so I will give him C tier. Like, he does have a musket, so he probably could, like, he probably has he could probably fare a bit better in combat compared to these characters here. So yeah, this is Howie. What was the name? Howie something. I actually want to remember now. Epithet erased. Howie. What was the name? Howie Honeyglow. Yeah, I would give him probably definitely A tier at least. I'm not going to go S tier. I would say A tier, and he's pretty strong. Like, he bent a wrench with his hand. Like, he's a Monday, just like already. That makes him like like his capabilities come from like him not even having powers. He was able to bend a wrench and use it as a boomerang, which does take some, I guess, some precision. He's also got he's got the most stamina out of any character, I would say. But I do think Beefton just is physically stronger than him, so I do think Beefton would still probably win in a 1v1 fight. Unless he does use the wrench like as a weapon. Again, I'm gonna say Beefton can win, but the wrench is a pretty strong weapon. Like you could I see him beating Giovanni and like everyone below him with the power, like his wrench abilities, I guess, his wrench boomerang. So yeah, Mara, I would give her probably, okay, so Giovanni already beat her, so like automatically she's below Giovanni. I would definitely give her though below the Bugsley, because she was portrayed as actually being like a decent fighter. She did actually best Sylvie in combat, so she is capable of like fighting a bit, but she is definitely weak. Like she has like no defense, but her offense is not bad, I would say, so we're gonna go mid B tier. Molly, she's not really a fighter, and she doesn't really have any fighting capabilities, so I'm gonna put her probably, I can see her beating the musket dude with her epithet, like of being able to dumb him down. She can actually probably use her epithet like against, if she does go, like she doesn't have the fighting capacity, I would say, like she literally is probably incapable of like she's probably like morally bound to not like really use her powers to the fullest extent. But usually in these power rankings, it is like the character's at full bloodlust, I guess, so it doesn't really matter about morals. So let's just say that she doesn't have a problem using her dumbed down abilities on actual characters. So in that case, I'll move her to the bottom of B tier. I can see her maybe be, I don't even think she could, still think everyone above her is like probably still battle hardened enough where they can probably best her. But and even Crazy Dude, I feel like the Crazy Dude, I feel like his mind's probably broken enough already where her dumb abilities might not even have an effect on him. So we'll put her like a low C tier, because honestly, just she has like no experience, and so that is really not doing her any favors. But she's probably still better than the D Sledge peers. Percy, okay, a decent combat fighter. She does have experience. She's a cop, and she does have the epithet ability of creating the tower spires, which does give her advantages in combat. However, she does lack the stamina. I'm pretty sure using her powers does take a lot of stamina from her. I definitely see her beating Giovanni, and I think she could probably beat Howie in a 1v1, I would say. And could she beat Beefton? I think Beefton is physically stronger, but Percy does probably have the better battle experience. And I can definitely see Percy beating Howie. Beefton, I'm gonna say. She could probably create some sort of like sound spire to wake up Beefton, I would say, and turn him back into Sylvie. So I think Percy is capable of definitely beating Beefton. So we are gonna go with Percy above Beefton. Sylvie himself, okay, we're gonna say Sylvie is like separate from Beefton, so Sylvie's powers would be basically being able to put people to sleep, as well as the sheep that he can use. So Giovanni was able to counteract him, so I don't think that, realistically, and Mara even was able to beat him, so I can see him maybe beating Bugsley. However, I'm thinking Bugsley would probably just eat the sheep, but he could probably put Bugsley to sleep, and so yeah, I'll say he could probably beat Bugsley, but I don't think that he like we've seen him lose to like the people above him, I would say. Yumta, this is the character that was just kind of like teased. She's probably like more important later on in the story, but for now, in like the first season, I guess, which is the whole animated series, she is not, we didn't see her capabilities up until this point. So I will assume she's probably decently powerful, so I'm just going to put her at the bottom of A tier, because I definitely can imagine, like, she is a high-ranking member, I'm assuming, of the Ocean Bliss terrorist organization. So I'm going to put her probably, like, realistically, we just don't know her, like, her abilities. So I'm going to put her, like, bottom of A tier, because I do imagine that she is probably powerful enough where she can definitely beat Giovanni, I would say. So we're going to go bottom of A tier. Zora, definite S tier. She is able to basically speed up or reverse any process as long as it doesn't come to a conclusion. So if you, I think I used this example in the review, if you throw a ball in the air, she can speed up it, like if you drop a ball, basically, she can speed up the process of it falling, or she can reverse the process and cause it to go back up. But once the ball actually like hits the ground and stops falling, then she cannot affect it anymore. So still very powerful. She can basically control like people's lifespan. She can age up people, which is really powerful. She can like stop the flow of bullets and stuff. So like a really, it's not exactly like time stop. We're not getting to like JoJo levels of time manipulation, but still it is a very powerful ability. She can even infuse the power into bullets. So if she shoots someone with a bullet, even if bullets are not lethal in this universe, she can shoot someone with a bullet and then age them up, basically. So she is like definitely the strongest character here, and in the right circumstances, like she was bested because of I think she wanted to have like a fair 1v1 without epithets, but then when she ended up cheating anyway, she did not have a gun with her. So if she did have a gun with her when she went full bloodlust, not caring about morals, she would have probably been able to defeat both Percy. And actually, I do think, so the only person that really could best her is, I would say, like Ramsey himself. So, and here's the thing, I don't know if Ramsey can move I think Ramsey can move when he's a solid statue. So I think in general, just like Ramsey just happens to be the perfect counter against Zora, where he can just turn his whole body into gold, and then Zora can't really age him up because like gold, I guess, doesn't deteriorate even after a while. So, but I think it just so happened to be they were in a situation where Ramsey managed to get the upper hand on Zora, and I think in like a realistic case, Zora, like in a 1v1 battle where it's like they aren't up close to each other, I think Zora would be able to come up with different methods to be able to anyway beat Ramsey. So Ramsey, I'm going to give him probably, I do think though, like he doesn't really utilize it, to be honest, a lot. Like he could, if he can, like just permanently keep his body like gold, and that's basically like unlimited defense. So, but he didn't really do that at any point, which I'm not really sure why, because that does seem like a pretty strong ability. So I would say I'll give him S tier anyway, because I do think that, again, like defense is extremely powerful, but just the fact that he didn't really utilize it, honestly, to the best of its ability. So maybe there are limitations to it. Maybe he can't. Maybe it's like temporary, the amount of time that he can turn himself into gold. Like I'm pretty sure the gold power is actually permanent. Like if you turn something to gold, it will stay permanent, because he mentions, unless not, because for some reason they also mentioned that it's like he scammed a bunch of businesses by he ended up giving them gold in trade for like stocks and stuff, which he ended up like selling, but then the gold would end up reverting back into dirt and stuff. So maybe there is a time limit, because I don't see why he wouldn't just like let them keep the gold so that he wouldn't have like a target on his back afterwards. So I'm going to probably, maybe I can look it up. Maybe there's an answer like later on in the series. Let me see here. Is Ramsey's gold temporary in Epithet erased? Maybe this will give me the answer. Let's see here. Yes, Ramsey Murdoch's gold in Epithet erase is strictly temporary. Using his gold Bricker epithet, he can transmute objects himself or other people into solid gold and back. However, the effect wears off naturally, and the affected targets revert to their normal state hours later. Okay, so it's not permanent. So that does nerf him a bit. So I'm going to put him in the top of A tier, because I do think Zora could probably beat him still. Yeah, but so it is temporary, so I don't know how long it lasts. It said a couple of hours, so I don't know. Maybe he could still keep himself gold for like a few hours, and then if that's the case, then he could probably still beat anyone on this list here. So, you know, fine, we'll be generous. We'll give him like a low S tier, but I do think that, yeah, the temporary factor, if it wasn't temporary, it would probably be, he actually might have the potential of beating Zora, I guess. Yeah, probably still not, even if he could like had unlimited time on the gold, then Zora could still probably come up with some creative way to manage to defeat him. So I'm still going to give it to Zora, but I would say that, yeah, definitely he is probably the second most powerful. So, yep, second place in S tier. This is Arnold. I think that was his name. I'm going to give him probably, he's weaker than Bugsley, and to be honest, he can't really use a lot of it. Like, his powers kind of work where he lends other people strength, kind of, where it's like, he has like coupons that translate into power, so it's like if 4 people attack someone at once, it's like they get the power of like 5 people basically. So it's really not that good on its own. I can even see Molly honestly beating him. I can see, unless he has like coupons that he himself can use, which I'm sure he can, and so maybe he could still defeat Molly, but I'm not sure. I think the musket dude managed to, didn't at the end the musket, like he was captured by the musket dude, like the musket dude had him like held at gunpoint. So yeah, I think that he loses to the old dude. Could Molly beat him? If he can't use the coupons on himself, then maybe I can look up this answer as well. Can Arnold use the coupons on himself in Epithet erased? See if we get the answer once again. Yes, Arnold Markdown can use his coupons on himself in the universe, magically apply the effects of savvy deals to himself or his allies, providing power. Okay, so he could probably use it on himself. So I do see he could probably beat Molly, but clearly he was held like at gunpoint with the old dude managed to like detain him. So I guess he doesn't beat the old dude, but yeah, so mid C tier will give him. And finally, Indus with the barriers. So physically he's pretty strong, and he can create barriers, which is pretty powerful. He definitely beats Giovanni, I would say. Like the way that they beat him was through smarts. So, but this is a power ranking, and it's less about smarts. I mean, you do need smarts in combat, but in an actual 1v1 against Giovanni, I think he wins. He'd probably lose to this Yumata lady, I would say, as well. Unless he does manage to, I don't know, because I feel like he could beat Howie if he manages like to get the barriers around him, but I think Howie, I don't know, maybe Howie's like smart enough to be able, we don't really know Howie's intelligence, but he'd also probably like use the boomerang to stop him maybe, so I'm going to put him, I'll put him bottom of A tier because we don't really, I don't know, this comes down to like us not knowing the extent of, well, maybe we do know, this comes down to me not knowing the extent of Howie and Yumata's powers, I guess, because they're not really portrayed that much in the actual animated series. And I don't think he's beating Beefton. I think Beefton, I don't know, but the barriers, are they invincible? Can they be broken? Let's hear. I'm just looking up a bunch of information now because apparently there is a lot of information out there about these characters. Can Indus is, I think it's actually Indus, yeah. Can Indus barriers be broken? Let's hear. Barrier ability produces translucent, bright orange barriers that are virtually indestructible to standard physical force. However, they can be broken or bypassed through specific methods. Fragility attacks. Okay, so Mara could break it. Unbarrier, so Ingdis himself can do it. While they are extremely tough against blows, they aren't completely immovable and can be pushed back if enough weight or physical force is applied. So, okay, I guess, I don't know, we didn't see him fight Yumata, but we don't know Yumata's power, so that's like a tough one. It's like an unknown kind of, and I feel like she could be smart enough to beat him. She does seem pretty intelligent. So I guess I think I'm going to move here. I'm going to move her above Howie. I think she could probably beat Howie because, again, we don't know the extent of his powers, and she just seems mysterious enough to... Again, we just really don't know her powers, I would say. So I think she, I don't know, high enough ranking member of Ocean Bliss. She's probably strong. We'll say she's strong enough to beat Howie. She is... She might not even be... a Mundi, sorry, she might not even be an inscribed, which is like what they call the epithet characters. She might be a Mundi because if the whole organization is character, like it's an organization of Mundis and Zora just happens to work for them because she shares the same ideology. Yumata, is her name even Yumata? Am I saying it right? Let me see. Epithet erased Yumta. Okay, that is her character, I guess. It might show what her powers are, but I don't really, if I do end up like checking out the sequel, I don't really want to get spoiled, so. Yeah, I don't know, I'm just going to, for now, we'll say, here, does Indus beat Howie? I feel like probably, honestly, because like unless he gets a good shot off with his wrench, then, yeah, but I feel like the barrier could just stop him and like entrap him, so I'm gonna say Indus beats him. Can Indus beat Yumta? Again, I don't know what her powers are, but I'm going to say, like, she's a high-ranking member of a terrorist organization. I'm going to say probably, I'm going to say. And can Indus beat her? He seems smart enough, she could probably beat him. I'm going to say, we're going to leave it as is. I'm going to say, I think that is good, I would say. So, yeah, so that is my ranking of all of the Epithet erased characters in terms of their power. So if you have any recommendations, any shows, movies, video game stories, anime, manga, web series, anything that you want me to review or rank or compare rankings, it does not have to be media related. It can be anything. Leave it in the comments and I will maybe possibly check it out. With that said, that is pretty much all there is to it. So let's leave it at that.